Hey, this is Marcos. Thanks for supporting the XPod 97. We now have merch, y'all. Grab a t-shirt, grab a sticker, grab a hoodie, or even get a mug for one of your relatives or something. I don't know. Rep the greatest X-Men podcast on the planet. We love doing what we do, and we want to continue bringing you weekly episodes. So don't forget to rate us and always subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest drops. Thanks again. We appreciate everything.
It's about that time. Your boys are back with another action-packed episode of X-Men 97, and we're not alone. We got my man, MrWrightWay here. What's going on, sir?
What's up, man? Thank you so much for inviting me, man. Still reeling after that for that final episode. I can't talk, man, dude. I want to say, man, like right off the jump, I think this has been like probably the best Marvel show. I won't say movie, but show since WandaVision, probably.
Man, I mean,
it's been good. I mean, like every week, like I really love like cliffhangers and making you wait. And you know, I love my boy Wolverine. We're gonna get back to it later on, but I mean, he was important when he had to be important, and then it took it away. I was like, man, can wrestling be like this sometimes? You know, it was like it was so good.
But there's so many things they did right. We're gonna get into it, but we gotta at least introduce you first. Let us introduce you. All right. So we're gonna start with the intro, and then we're gonna get this going. All right. And it goes
hot take already.
Hot take already. I know, right?
Hot take Steve. All right, here we go. Let's start it right now. X-Men 97 revisits the iconic era of the 90s as the X-Men, a band of mutants who use their uncanny gifts to protect the world that hates and fears them, are challenged like never before, forced to face a dangerous and unexpected new future.
The XPod 97 will track those adventures weekly to you, your XPod.
And here we are, XPod 97. We are past the season now. We are going past the season. A Wednesday with no X-Men 97 is like, why even wake up? You know, it's a very sad time. I must say.
Whoa! That's a strong opinion there.
I want to wake up. I got a lot to do, but you know,
I need somebody to meme the Wolverine laying on the bed holding the photo, and then the photo being like, "See you next season 2 for XPod X-Men 97." Because we're at a point now where it's like, who knows? Like, we don't even know when the next season is coming, man. But we know that what we got, we are very happy with. And because of that, I say, hey, don't rush it, y'all. Like, you know, it's going to happen. And I know it's going to be great. So I'm fine with waiting. I don't mind that at all. But we have a guest to talk about this past season as well as what else we're going to get, maybe some predictions. And I want to get into like your past on it. So this man, I consider a friend, a brother. We've been up and down the roads in our pursuit of our love for video games, pro wrestling. You know, it's always good when you find somebody out in the world that you feel like is a kindred spirit. And I would say this guy is certainly a kindred spirit of mine. I want to introduce you all to Steve, aka MrWrightWay, coming to us live from the console paradise back here. I mean, this is insane what's going on back behind you there.
I know, right?
But how's it going, bro?
Man, a blessed day, man. Blessed week, man. Just super blessed, man.
That's cool, man. It's good to see you. It's good that I think we were on like episode 2 of this show, and you texted me and was like, yo, man, you gotta get me on the show because this show is crazy. We got to talk about it. And that's literally why this podcast started. It was just I found myself texting with so many different people every single week, like, yo. And so I was like, man, we need a place where all the homies can get together and like really talk about what this show is and what it means to us. So Marco, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm recovering, from the Knicks loss.
Oh,
but you know, it's all good, man. We live on. My man, MrWrightWay, the homie.
What's up, brother?
Man, nothing much, man. Not much. Glad to have you on the show.
Man, thanks for all the
Rand,
support.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
hey, what you be sending me and stuff, man? Like I want to say, like personally, thank you. You know, you know what you're talking about, but you know, hey, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh, always, always,
Marcos is the
always.
plug.
Look out.
Yes, he
He's
is
a
in the
very good
know.
friend to have if you're a collector of fine things. I'll just say that. But yeah, man, it's we are at the point where this is the first Wednesday that there has not been a new episode. So,
Oh.
we were like, of course, we're going to continue the show, our pod, by going back on classic episodes that we've loved, classic moments, but also bringing in our friends to be able to talk about it and bring in some other X-Men related media, which we're going to talk about later. And first of all, I want to say, I just ask you, MrWrightWay, what's your beginnings with X-Men? Like, how did you get started? Was it the comics? Was it the show? Like, what's the beginning? Give us the origin story.
Man, it was comics a long time ago. A store that's still in my hometown called Doubleheader. They started like comic book and video games back in the day. And I remember, you know, I was always getting Nintendo Power and Game Pro and stuff like that. And then a dude brought like a comic book, like to school one day. And I was like, what is that? Like, so I started looking at it, and it was like some old X-Men comic, right? And he was just sharing it, and we were reading. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then next week he brought like Superman and then like Batman. I was like, I need to get this. Where can I get it? And, you know, back in the day, comics was cheap, like $1, $2, you know, no more than 3 or 4, right? Special issues. Man, I would save my money every week going to Doubleheader, getting new comics and stuff. And then started learning about like, okay, these comics actually tell a story, and they tell like one stop and then another one goes and one goes and one goes. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was just buying them, like just buying stuff. I like, you know, you fall in love with every kid kind of fell in love with Wolverine, you know, because you know, he's just crazy claws and all that kind of stuff. And then you know, you see like, wait a minute, hold on, there's a black woman on here, like Storm, and she's gorgeous. Like, look at this, you know. It was, yeah, that was my first real introduction. Then when X-Men, I won't say 92, I guess you say X-Men 92, or is it? Yeah. This regular X-Men came out. And then I was like a little bit old enough, you know, I was seasoned in the hobby and stuff. And I was like, this right here is different. You know, this brought everything to, you know, the music, the animation. You know, everybody remember the music, but then the anime. I was so intrigued by the animation style because, you know, I love like Japanese animation stuff. I was like, this ain't animated by no American. It can't be. If it is, it did a really good job, you know, because you go back and you think about like the first season of Transformers or the first season of Turtles. You're like, wait a minute, that's different, you know. And there was that Japanese animation, and that would just made me fall in love with everything. And then I was hooked, man. I was hooked on the games, hooked on anything X-Men, superheroes, anything geek culture. It was just, I loved it. I had to get all of it. You know, this ain't about X-Men, but you know, when Superman died, you know, man, I went to school with the little armband and stuff, you know, like what's wrong? Like, oh yeah, man, you know, Superman, he's gone. Like, you're like, huh? Like, yeah, man, it was a whole worldwide event and stuff. You know, getting 2 comics and stuff, one to put up and then one to wear, you know, all the geeks getting together and stuff. So it's stuff like that.
That's fire. That's fire. So,
okay, and that's kind of similar to a lot of people. I think we've had that same situation. Go ahead, Marcos.
so I heard you mention the comic. Well, do you remember the first X-Men comic you picked up? Or is there a particular one that you're like, man, like that one, like, or you recall anything like that?
I do I don't remember, but I do remember an issue getting when Wolverine lost an animal. How you say it? I remember that issue. I remember that, and it was like a 10-fold issue. And then I remember some issues with Cable on the cover. I remember the Dark Phoenix saga, like, you know, that it was just so many, man. It just like, I wasn't like a comic book collector. I like the stories and stuff like this. I guess I was a collector in a way because I had the white backboard and the sleeve. And when I finished with it, make sure, you know, get no oils on the thing. But I just can't remember as one certain magazine. I just remember seeing that big X-Men symbol and sent everybody on there. And I was like, whoa, you know, it was just, I think the color blue. I think because I love blue so much. I think that's what caught me about it. I know it was a blue cover. I can't remember, but man, they brought it to the lunchroom because I remember we had a Nintendo Powers and like Game Pros and stuff, and we like, yeah. But he said, no, we check this out. And everybody like,
okay,
okay.
So we, as you're a friend of ours, we know about your YouTube success.
Oh, thank you.
Can you tell us your beginnings of how you started as a YouTuber and your passion for photography, all that? Like, give us our audience. Let us know how you started, man. How you became one of the coolest guys that I know.
Hey, thank you. Some people don't think that, but I'm glad y'all do. That's what matters. Man, it was so crazy because this kind of sounds like a familiar story. It's kind of like I started kind of like in church, really, making videos in church and stuff, making commercials for my pastor and was coming up on next Sunday and different events and stuff. And I always loved making like commercials with my camera and stuff, taking photos. The photos is a God-given gift. I pick up a camera and that was my gift God gave me. That was my 100% gift. Like I just got through doing some photos for my cousin. Like, yeah, I picked up. Oh, I know like this. Like it don't take much for me to make a photo. And I say make a photo. It don't take much. So I know that was my gift thing. But the YouTube thing, like I said, it started from church. So I say, let me start big tech boom way back in the day. I started covering tech stuff like the iPhone and cameras and stuff and lenses, just different stuff. I call it like the Right Tech Show. It was just so corny. I said, okay, let's just put something out there. Didn't know anything about editing and nothing like that. I was just putting stuff out there. Like I like a camera, showing teaching people how to help. Just get on the camera, do all that kind of stuff, right? And I did that for like about 4 or 5 years and stopped. Didn't think anything about it. And then I got married, and my ex-wife was in YouTube, and I was like, YouTube ain't nothing. This ain't really nothing. And then from that, she kind of like went into like getting in YouTube. I started taking it seriously. And then the pandemic came, and then I just started taking it even more serious. I'm like, hold on, I actually like doing this. I like driving around showing people games and stuff and just connecting with different other collectors and stuff. And it just one thing led to another. I forgot what my previous YouTube name was, but then I always hated my last name because I never had a cool name, just Steve Wright. I never got no cool name. You can't say, hey, what's a SW? You can't say nothing like, I didn't have no cool name. So I was like, let me see, can I find something that's cool? And I said, Rightway. I said, I said, okay, I'll try that. And it just stuck. And after that, it just, God blessed it to go like from here to like steadily doing really, really good. It's like I always kind of step in like really, really good situations. And I thank God for that, man. It's been such a blessing. It's such a creative outlet and meeting so different people doing things. I love video games. I love traveling. I love driving. I love like wrestling, all that kind of stuff. It just put that all together. And with my photography stuff, it's been really good, man. It's been difficult. Don't get me wrong. It's been challenging because as you get successful, man, goodness, you drawing a lot of hate. And then I'm at the point in my career where, all right, I'm learning how to just ignore the hate because every new level is every new devil. And then once I get past this, because like say whoever you don't like, this is not political, but whoever you vote for, you're either gonna like it or like somebody, or they're gonna have haters, or they're gonna have people who love them. It's never gonna be 100%, never gonna be 75%. So I just like it comes with the territory. It's it's not built for the weak, and you gotta work. Like today, I'm still working and I'm tired. I got home from Japan. I was in Japan. I got home, still had to work, make sure videos. It's always a constant thing, but I don't see it as a job because I love it.
That's good. So getting back to like the whole reason we're here, X-Men. This season, was there a favorite episode for you? Because I know you were locked in. Ren was keeping me updated on how much you guys and him were communicating about it. Like okay, when you sat down, hit play on the first 2 episodes, what was your reaction?
I was like, damn. I was like, what? What are they doing? I just look like I had to like catch myself because I I had this internal like, hey, this is not Disney. This is something else, and I like look like no, this is Disney Plus still. And I still looked, and I was like, I had to catch my breath. I wasn't like when it's emotional damage. I was like, what is going on? And every week they took you on this roller coaster, like to a point where like, hold on, who cut the onions, man? Like, what's going on? You know, like that emotion you get, that like that COVID mania emotion. Like, I was like, ooh, like I gotta go watch something else. And after episode 5, yo, I had to go watch something else.
So, is episode 5 your favorite episode of the season?
It probably is. It's most like everybody else's, because I was like, you know, it's kind of funny. We take these characters for granted, right? And we don't usually have characters that die or in permanent death. Because we like, oh, he gonna die, he gonna come back in some kind of way, you know, he gonna go, you know. No, he wasn't coming back. It's like playing some games like at permadeath. Like, you ain't coming back. You made a decision. You gotta stick with it. And I didn't want to stick with that. And I was like halfway mad and halfway sad, but halfway happy. I was like, I was really emotional after episode 5, because it did something to me that only way I can put it is, after like the second Star Wars movie, for people who grew up with it and saw it the first time, they had to wait so long, you know. It hit you emotionally, because like, oh wow, why did you do this to me? But I was happy they did it to me, because it kept me coming back. And also too, no, I'm sorry, but it was also too about X-Men. They paid attention to the smallest detail. Like people, like one thing is like that I hate it to this day when they like in the first X-Men movie when Cyclops told Wolverine what you want, yellow spandex, and then he came back and corrected that. I was like, thank you, because I hated that. I mean, just why you making fun of
that was great. They gave it back. Yeah, they gave it back to him. Like, oh, what you expecting? Black leather. You know, I love that. It's a great little moment. I feel like I always said this before. It's like it checked every box for somebody who's watched every piece of X-Men material. It was like, all right, what do you want fixed? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? What do you need? What do you not need? You know, and it just checked every box. Like, I haven't seen a Marvel thing do that so well. And so that's why my theory is that next season, I don't think it could possibly top this. Like, I just feel like they threw everything at the wall. I think they threw the super Hadouken, and they are spent. Like, they used all the super meter, and that it's going to take some time to crawl back after this. And I think it's okay.
I don't know.
They set up a lot.
They set up a lot.
But I just, man, how can you top this? Like,
I don't know, man. Like, we can segue somehow to the Homelander meme when he was like, "Oh, you guys like this?" Like, this might be the beginning of them just going even deeper and deeper. And I want to touch on something real quick that Steve said. That just like hit me like a ton of bricks when you said it. We are the Star Wars fans. You remember back when the prequels came out? And we were like, man, why is everybody all up on this? Now we're those people when it comes to X-Men. Like, it's been like, what, 30 years almost? And we're like, oh, you should have been there. Like, this was special.
It was special.
Yeah, even the anniversary of Phantom Menace is like this year. And I don't know if y'all were around or outside, as they say, when Phantom Menace dropped. That was a moment. Like, I mean, what the movie turned out to be is, you know, here nor there.
That's something else.
But, yeah, that's something else.
It might have been the most anticipated movie ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least up until that point, because people thought they was never going to see another Star Wars. So, like, for it to have come, and I mean, you know, what it did, how it performed, was it actually good? Notwithstanding, that part's not even important. But the hype level was something that I had never seen. I was in college at that time, and like, it was insane. People was taking off of school, but it's like, nah, we going to see this.
We have
to see Phantom Menace.
I believe, like, outside of Harry Potter, those movies sold out. That was one of the few times that I remember vividly standing online You know what I mean? Like it was insane. Like and it was back in the day. It wasn't like you could you could go and like get it on Fandango or whatever website you use. You had to like go to the theater, and they sold up to capacity.
Yeah, they were putting it on every screen in the theater. I think that's the first time I ever seen that, where like you'd go to the movie that has 12 movies, and it's like 12 different Phantom Menace is running. Like it was that big. Like this movie, you had to see it first weekend, like because it was just such a moment, you know. And then when it came out on DVD, you had to get it. Like it was just like you absolutely had to be there. So that kind of anticipation is so different now with us being at home. But I'll ask you, Steve. X-Men 97 decided to go with the weekly drops, which I think has been the Disney Plus kind of model from here on. But then we look at shows like Fallout, which is happening on Amazon, or Invincible, where they'll give you a number of episodes at once. So do you prefer getting it all at once or the weekly drops? Like, what's your preference of how to enjoy these?
Now that after X-Men and the Disney Plus model, I like weekly drops because it gives that social aspect. Cause I look like after every episode X-Men ended, right? I jumped to the Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, all the social groups, and I was just searching what did people had to say. What the memes was going to be, right? What was a hard hitting moment? If you get all of it at one time, and it'd be like you don't really get that. Me, because I'm so social and I like to interact and talk with people about stuff and just see what people are saying. And another thing too, I think it hit very good because a lot of us went in with low expectations. Like, all right, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. And then because like this past couple of years wasn't the best Marvel movies, right? The best series wasn't really great. They were okay, but it was kind of surfing for burnout. And then you had the back of your mind potential, like, okay, this is an anime, so they can do animation, they can do what they want. And then when it dropped, after the first 2 episodes dropped, people's like, oh my gosh. And then 3, it just kept like building. It was almost like the Bloodline storyline, like every week it's doing something. What is it doing? What is it doing? And it just hit that peak. And then what's so great about it hit a peak at episode 5 and it still went up, like you don't usually hit a peak that quick. You hit a peak like right 2 episodes before the end, but at 5, he was like a beloved character, like Gambit. It was like, I was like, you just sit there
for them
like,
to give it to you that at the halfway point was so hard. Like I just love that there was like, man, now you got to sit with this and figure this out for the next few weeks and figure and think, oh, they coming back. They they're gonna fix it. It's gonna be how's it gonna? And they didn't resolve it until, and I hope you saw it. There was a post-credit scene in episode 10, which gave us a little clue that our boy is coming back, but probably in a different
which
form.
I kind of called. I'm just saying, I'm tooting my own horn right now.
Hey, speaking of that, I saw a theory of all the Omega level mutants are probably going to be horsemen, because you got Apocalypse is the alpha, and then you got the other ones are Omegas. So the alpha and Omega, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Just
I need
saying,
to see Angel, Archangel, because that was my guy. I need to see Angel.
I don't see Magneto and Storm, but because they kept saying they Omega level threats. Why they kept saying that? And I thought, think about that, like, hold on, why they keep saying that?
So what's an Omega level threat? That's the big bosses.
I think the reason that they kept explaining the Omega level threat is because if you think about it, when we were children or young adults or whatever have you, whatever your age group was when you first saw the original series, we were kind of like, oh, everybody's around the same power level, but no, there's like there's levels to this. So it's like, all right, it's like, oh, I'm in there with Wolverine. It's like, yeah, but you could go in there with with Magneto and he could just make your whole life easier.
Whew, boy.
Or like for Xavier, like, you know what I mean? Like, or even Rogue. Like Rogue honestly came in and was given that 2-piece and a biscuit, but at Omega level power, or like Storm. It's like some of the teams are like, Like who would you rather come to help you?
Yeah.
Like I love
Shout out to
Jubilee.
Priest. With the description, I'm gonna have to get Priest on a future episode as well. An Omega level mutant is defined as a mutant with the power to rapidly warp reality in some fashion. So these are our top level, top tier, S tier OPs, mutants that can alter the way we live, which are Storm, for example, because she can alter the laws of nature to make weather go crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like for our anime fans, it's like there's a difference between Goku and Yamcha. Like, like they're all DBC fighters, but you know what I mean. Like you chilling if Goku roll up, but
And you can say anybody over Yamcha.
it's like, oh, you said Yamcha, man. We both about to get folded.
Yamcha got picked last. Like Yamcha, like no, I take Krillin over Yamcha. Yeah.
But now that we're talking about,
all right, so I want to talk about something. You know what? We praise this show a lot, so I'm gonna just jump into the other side of
our
it.
main event.
It's weird for me. We're all positive guys, but this is what I want to ask, and I'm gonna ask both of y'all and myself. What is your worst part of the season, or at least worst moment, or maybe episode, or things like that, or like maybe, and it doesn't even have to be bad. It's just maybe like it wasn't a 10, it wasn't a 9 like the rest of it. And now that I look back, I don't remember what we rated it, but I'm gonna give my answer, and it's not that it was bad. It's just looking back, it wasn't as important. Is the Mojo episode.
Okay.
Because I felt like when they did the Jubilee thing, as great as it was, and it actually leads me into what we came here to talk about today, which is the X-Men arcade game. It was great for the 8-bit, 16-bit itch being scratched, and it was also great because it gave Jubilee a little bit of exposition. But for me, I just felt like overall, when you look at every other episode, it's the most meaningless. Like it's the one that could have been cut, and we wouldn't have had we wouldn't have noticed anything. So is there a moment in the show where you was like, that didn't have to happen, or I could do without that, or a particular episode where you was like, I'm fast forwarding this one, I wouldn't go back to this one? I don't know. Marcos, what do you say?
100% that entire episode. Like, I would have rather had a compressed Forge Storm story when they did the wrap up. Like they could have cut down that episode. I would have given those minutes to the finale. Like, I don't know. Like, I love Jubilee, and I understand what the episode was there for. It was a palate cleanser. If you ever gone out, to a multi-course meal, they usually bring something that's bland in the middle of the meal, so you can basically cleanse your palate, so you could taste the next courses, which are going to be more concentrated. So I took it for what it was. It was a fun episode for the handful of Jubilee fans that are like her stands. It was there. It was it like it gave us the 90s vibe, everything. And then it's like I was never a fan of Mojo. Like I never liked him in any iteration, but it wasn't a bad episode. Honestly, that episode will stand up better than some of the other IPs that are out there that give us multiple episodes of crap. But it was like the redheaded stepchild of this theory. Yeah,
I'm gonna just say they can't all be bangers. Like you said, they got to set the tone. They got to set pacing. You can't have a roller coaster that's literally all downhill. Like you can't. Like it's just not possible to build it that way. So therefore, you got to have those peaks and valleys. You got to be like, all right, we're going up, and then So I understand it for that purpose, but the important part of that is what you said, is that Life Death, the 2-part episode with Storm and Forge, deserved so much more. Like I think they could have done a Life Death Part 3. Like they had a full episode. I feel like the journey of Storm, the adversary, we talked about it. I felt like they did kind of rush it. I remember, shout out to Makazi, who was on the episode, and he was saying like we needed more from the adversary. We needed more of an exposure of that moment for Storm, instead of being like, oh snap, I'm back, I'm healed. Like, give me some moments where she realizes that maybe she's better off this way, or could use some, a journey. So that was, if I'm not mistaken, Life Death was an entire, saga. You know what I mean? And
it was,
and it got condensed. So I would have liked to see more, but I understand you got to do filler, and if you're gonna do filler, it might as well be fun. And so the Mojo, the arcade stuff was fun. Seeing the future Jubilee, and I think you mentioned it too, Marcos, is that we were hoping that would come back at some point in the show. Like, oh, that's why they gave you that, because now we're going back through time, and here comes blah blah blah. Doesn't happen, at least not in this season. So, with that being said, looking at the totality, that episode we could have done without.
What about you, Steve, MrWrightWay?
I might piss some people off with this one, but we didn't need to see the Phoenix. I mean,
what?
I know. Yeah. No, we didn't. No, I've never been. The Phoenix saga was just it's just annoying to me. Even though I'll go back and watch it, I just don't care for it. You could have found another creative way. Like, the Phoenix is like John Cena. Like, she come in, boom, take out the bad guys, and that's it. Like, what?
But we
could have found
that for Bastion. Like, Bastion was somebody.
But they still had to fight Bastion. They still had to fight Bastion, Like, she did take care of Sinister, which that was hilarious. Especially when Morph like, Morph like, look at you, sucker. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. But I just didn't need
somebody for Sinister, but
but I just didn't. I didn't care for that. I mean, I understood it, yes, but I do agree with the Nintendo episode. I just didn't see, the Phoenix, and like, okay, like, we're gonna put our Phoenix card down in time to get us out of this situation. Like, I was doing really good. You could do something else to get out of that. That's just me.
Okay, all right, that's fair. All right, so we're gonna take a trip to the arcade. Yeah, you getting some hate for sure in the comments for this.
I know, right?
So,
first of all, if we have MrWrightWay, come on, guys. If you guys know anything about his channel, we were gonna talk about video games, and namely, what today was gonna be about is the X-Men '92 game. Now, you guys know how this game came about, right?
Wait, hold on. Let me take him to the arcade. I'm gonna play the track mode of the game just to get us in the moment.
Okay.
In the mood
play it.
Of imagine walking up to a 6-player arcade cabinet, and this is what you see.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're like, what is going on? Yeah.
They got goosebumps already.
Look at that. You get the feels.
X-Men. Yeah. I remember that.
Prepare to die.
The hairiest man in the world.
Oh, Dazzler. Nobody wanted to be Dazzler. In my hood,
nobody.
We drew straws for Dazzler. If you were the last person who walked up, you had to be Dazzler.
Man, listen.
Look at these top-notch graphics.
I still got the game on my
Xbox 360. Beat 'em ups. I mean, in the vein of Double Dragon before it, Battletoads, it was just walking around left to right, whooping bad guys.
I was looking over to my arcade. I got it. I got a port of it.
Don't update it.
Nice. And if you've ever been to a MagFest, you recognize that sound of Colossus powering up, which is,
oh my god, that gives you nightmares.
Is the MagFest staple that everybody just randomly goes, and you lose a little power every time you use it, and you're just beating people up, and that's really it. So, all right, give us the story, Marcos. What is the story of this game?
So the story of this game, the game released in '92, and originally when the game was being thought of, they were going to do, the rumor was that they were going to do a tie-in with the X-Men Pride of X-Men, the actual cartoon, which was supposed to debut in '89. However, the cartoon came out and they didn't pick it up. So then Konami just went in and just, you know what? Screw it. We're going to use the artwork from this cartoon because everybody, it's the same exact team. And that's how they were drawn. And then they created this game, which is 6 players, in which you choose one of 6 X-Men, or you could play all 6. As you mentioned before, you had Dazzler, you have Nightcrawler, you have Storm, Wolverine, Colossus, and Cyclops, which are, that's my favorite iteration of the team, with the exception of Dazzler. Like, I wish we got somebody else during that time. And it honestly became one of the highest successful
Question
games.
is, who did you run with?
Who, me?
Who did you run with, Marcos?
Yeah, come on now. There ain't no question. It's a top 3. It's Colossus, Cyclops, and Wolverine. That's it, bro. I love Nightcrawler,
Steve,
but like,
who did you run with? Because on this game, it was weird because with the 6 player, with the 6 joystick setup, you had to be at that joystick to be that character. So if you were on the ends, you just had whoever was on the end. And the middle, I don't remember who was in the direct middle, but each one was like tied to a controller, which is the first time I'd seen that, where you had to be on that stick, and that stick was a different color. It was, you know, it was color coded. So that was who you had to be. And I think Dazzler was on the end, on maybe the far right. And I don't remember who was on the far left. Since it's blue, I'm wondering if it was Nightcrawler. I don't know. But I thought that was
according
cool.
to this, according to what I see here, it was Wolverine, Wolverine, Colossus, Cyclops was in the middle. Hold on, because I'm working off an old picture here. No, I'm lying. It is, geez Louise, my eyes got to get checked. It was Cyclops on the left, then it was Colossus, then it was Wolverine, then Storm, then Nightcrawler, and then Dazzler all the way to the right. That's how it was. And it's honestly, if my wife would allow me, I would buy the old cabinet, but yeah.
It's a huge cabinet because there's like 2 of those cabinets.
It's so
like the
big, dog. Like,
it's like the 4-player screen. Yeah, it's triple screen.
It's bigger than my whole streaming setup, which is kind of big.
You know what, the thing about that game, right? I had it at Aladdin's Castle. I don't know if most people had Aladdin's Castle, but they would turn the difficulty up to like craziness, you know?
I never beat it.
Okay.
I never beat it streets.
It was good though.
I never beat it out in the
I mean, if you just spent a ton of money, you could beat it. It was literally a quarter muncher. I mean, the classic arcade games were like that. If you threw in a bunch of money, you could beat the game. So you probably need about $10 in quarters.
I spent $12. Yeah, I spent like $12 trying to beat that game one time.
Man, you guys must have had a different childhood than I had. I wherever that arcade was, and I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, that wasn't a corner store arcade. That was an actual arcade cabinet. Like, you had to go to an arcade, and the way my allowance and my time outside alone was set up, ain't no way I was gonna ever beat that. Like, you know, I remember finally going to the boardwalk in Coney Island and playing it. My mom wasn't gonna sit there for 3 hours for me red up quarters. I beat it for the first time. Like, I want to say when I got it, when I ported it to my homemade arcade, I sat there and played it. And I remember my wife was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm not down here." It took me like 90 minutes, and this is with unlimited lives, bro.
Yeah, that's one thing about the arcade 1-up ones. I think the arcade 1-up is still the better arcade 1-ups. As far as now, that game, that cabinet's probably gone up since the cartoon came out, but they also released another one with that on there. But yeah, it was a special machine because they had that and it's the Turtles and then
this thing and somebody's Turtles, Simpsons,
and Simpsons,
Sunset Riders,
all Konami stuff.
But hold on,
different engine. But
fun fact: nobody has released an actual copy of this game, like a 6-player playable, like not even arcade 1-up. Arcade 1-up allow you to do 4. Most places allow you to do 4. Right?
Yep.
they don't like for you to play 6, you gotta do like some incredible like setup, or you gotta like buy the original cabinet. And you know, like we talk
a little
about
hectic. 6 is crazy, and like it took a double screen just to fit all that on there. So like I can understand 6 is completely hectic. The new Turtles game I think is 6, right?
Yeah, there's no 6.
Simultaneous. I believe it's up to 6, and the action is so hectic, like it's just crazy madness. You can't even keep up with what's going on. So trying to play 6 at home would be a nightmare. But there was when they first put this on the home, I think it was Xbox 360. They did it on the arcade.
Yeah, because I still have it.
You
I
have
still
it?
have that. Yep.
I don't know
because
if it was 6 players though, but yeah.
No, it was 4 because it was a point
Okay.
when the 360 came out, you know, the marketplace, they dropped that, the original Turtles and the Turtles. They didn't do Turtles in Time, but they did that and Turtles and Simpsons. They did all that. And then when they lost the license, if you didn't download it or buy it when you had the license, you wouldn't have it. Now you can hack the 360, or if you still have it like the demo, or if you bought the game, you still can play it. So yeah, I still have that. Because I'm currently doing 360 videos, and I looked through and I'm like, oh, I still got this. I still got Turtles remastered. I said, okay. I still got Turtles Time, got Simpsons. I said, oh, okay, I still got them.
Man, yeah, I was about to say. So this is a good question too. Separate, Steve, you're a collector, as we can see behind you. You're a major collector. So I would say, obviously, you are a advocate of collecting physical merchandise as opposed to downloading. And we should definitely talk to the people about the advantages to that, because I, for one, was a huge fan of the Scott Pilgrim game. And I remember that came out on PS3 and was a big deal and an amazing game. Same fighting style, these same 2D, platform fighting games type style. And then they lose the license and the game is gone.
Cool.
So in those situations, I have to say, so Steve, you can speak to that, like the importance of grabbing games while they are physical and as opposed to downloading.
Yeah, man, I'm on both sides, but I'm more on the physical side, especially like the older stuff, like 360, especially right now. 360 is going crazy. Like the store's getting ready to shut down. Like I said earlier, if you bought these games back in the day, you good, you got them, you can download them forever. I'll also buy extra 360 or PS3 so you can transfer them over in case one dies. I really do think physical is the way to go, because like let's take another X-Men, like X-Men, one of the best games on the Saturn. This game right here, you can emulate it. I mean, it's such a great game, especially like I want to say, I got the poster. Took me a while to find the poster.
Wow.
Hang this up. A lot of people don't see this poster, man. Like, look at that. That poster is just.
Let's get them on the main screen. I want to see that.
I gotta solo you. Hold that up.
Yeah. Look at that poster,
that's
man.
in great shape too.
I know, right? And I got this for like $20 and it had the poster. Usually it's like $40, but see, look, I never had a poster and then wow, but look, remember back in the day, y'all. Back in my day, you get the poster and you had to you get the secrets and the hints and the levels all there on the back. So, if you hold the poster up, I'm gonna frame this one too because it's so iconic. But going back to being physical games, man, I absolutely love them. If you can see on the back, I'm playing a Saturn and I have it's modded. Saturn is super expensive, but recently I'm starting to recollect Saturn. I think it's a room for both, but know that if you don't buy something early and it gets pulled, the price of the games is going to jump through the roof. Speaking like you're saying, X-Men games, right? Let's look at these. I got 2. X-Men Wolverine Origins Uncaged Edition on PS3 and on 360. Both of these games are complete, so to speak, what we talk about. I paid what? $12.95 for this 360. I mean, a PS3 one. $12.95. If you look online right now, this game's probably about $30 to $40 right now. Both of these games, especially the 360 version, and it happens like that with popularity, scarcity. Just finding out games is good. Like this is actually a really good movie tie-in game. And usually movie games don't be good because when you beat it, you can get the original Wolverine suit at the end. So it's stuff like that. Like if you don't buy physical now and you try to buy it later after it gets popular or people started going to collect it, you're gonna pay a lot of money. Like a lot of 360 games right now are just shooting up in price and it's crazy. I was telling people 5 years ago, collect Xbox 360 games, collect PS3. The 7th generation is about to end. Once the PS3 store closes, that is it. That's the end of the 7th generation. The 7th generation was so great because it had the PS3, Xbox 360, the Wii. You wouldn't consider Wii U, that's like the 8th. The DS, the original DS, all of those systems are like gone now. I mean, online stores. And if you look at the prices of some of those games, they're just steadily clocking up. And also, the people who grew up with those stuff, the people who grew up with the Wii are like 19 and 20 now. They got jobs and got money and going back to collecting the stuff. So it's constantly, it's going to be expensive, you know, if you're trying to get the original stuff. I just say, like,
what's the
shout out to my guy, that demo guy. He's looking for that game, those games you held up, Steve.
Oh, he's looking for both of these Wolverine games.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things. I'm sorry. I might cause the internet to go on fire. I'm not team physical, man. I'm team however I could play it.
I understand. You know what? And I totally understand that because the price. And I'm a collector.
Yeah,
I'm a collector.
When I show up at retro game cons and I see Earthbound for $300 or whatever, I'm just like, all right, man, like it's out of control. You know what I mean? So I wish it wasn't that way where it's like you want a game and then it's mad expensive. They're grading games now, like comics, which is wild to me. Like it's pretty awesome to see like the value of gaming going up. But man, if you just want to play a game, that's where it gets really difficult because it's like, I just want to play a game. So however I can get it, I'm gonna get it, you know, because Nintendo particularly isn't always as quick to put a game back out, or there's so many games that don't get retro treatment. So it's like, man, you got to just find it however you can get it. So I understand that totally. And
like I
was about to ask you about that, Steve, because is that the game that's been like currently trending right now? There's I see a Twitter video of it like every other day of an X-Men fighting game with Professor X in the wheelchair doing Magneto doing some crazy special where he picks you up in the air and then like does a slam.
This is probably it. This is probably the one. I haven't played this in a while, but collecting this, like I said, games like this, games like this, when shows come out, they lost the time. Now, if you see a green label, this is a greatest hit. So it sold a lot back in the day. It's one of the kind of first X-Men fighting games on a PlayStation, and it was really, really good, you know. But then people go back like, oh, I want to play that, you know. But you're not gonna see PlayStation release it. For one thing, this is right here, Activision. Activision been losing licensings for like Spider-Man, all the superhero stuff. Like that's why you see the Spider-Man games on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 are like $80, $90, $100. It's because Activision lost the license. The Spider-Man 2 on the PS4, Activision had it, lost the license. That's another thing. You don't know if these companies lost. Look, here it is. You're talking about X-Men. I love this game.
I love that game too.
Love it. But Activision lost the license. All of these games that had license, and then also too, I had to watch what I talk about because I'll get blamed for prices going up when people could have bought these games like 20 years ago. But I mean,
wait, hold on. I gotta stop there. Hold on. Let me find out. Steve, you out here altering the market. You out here changing the game. So if you say a game is worth something, that changes. Wow,
that's the right way effect. The right way effect.
No one managed to have all that power.
I really do.
But don't get me wrong, like,
dude, go ahead, Mark. I'll tell you the bit, but
I say I'm not team physical, but then hanging out with people like Rand, you know, I do make impulse buys like this horrible game here.
Man,
Mayhem. And I bought it. Like I bought it. I went and bought a 64. Like I hunted it and I found it at the price that I wanted it. And like I bought all these controllers, played it for like 2 weeks, and then it's just collecting dust again. Like I think it's
Yeah.
a feeling. The reason why I don't like physical, because the impulse to buy is always there, and then one time, like I guess the hype in my mind, because I hype myself. I don't go on the internet, whatever. Like once that's gone, it's just a dust thing. And I'm one of those weirdos that it's like, man, I don't like losing money on stuff that I paid for. I try not to pay above retail or whatever. But then it's like when you get rid of stuff, it's like slow ball city everywhere. But I love
Yeah.
getting a good copy. But go ahead, Steve.
No,
My fault.
No, hey, that's
that's
why you
real.
gotta follow your boy,
But
man. I tell you how to do stuff the right way, how to get these expensive games, man. Like I just walked in the other day. I think Rand probably saw like walking in GameStop, and a homeboy who works at GameStop traded all of his Sega Saturn games in. I'm talking about like $800 worth Sega Saturn games, and he probably got pennies on the dollar. Well, he got like $600-700, something like that. But these prices, like I got one game. You gotta go watch the video, but one game was called Burning Rangers, and Burning Rangers is easy all day a $700 to $900 game. GameStop selling it for like $99. I'm like, yo, let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get. I mean, it was just ridiculous amount of Saturn games in there, and it was crazy. Still like they're like blessed to walk into something like that. I was like, what?
wow.
And then like also too, like, and I said, who sold this? And they said, well, this guy who works for us. I said, where is he at? Oh, he at the other store. He said he had, and they said he also had games we wouldn't take, but you might go over there and see if he got it. Man, I went over there and saw what games that dude had. I don't know if I can grab it. Let me see. But I think, let me see if it's right here real quick. No, I don't have it right. Oh, yeah, it is. No, it ain't. Hold on. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. But Panthers the Dragoon Saga. The game is like $1,100, and it's most games, dude. And got an amazing deal. I'm gonna say what I did, because if I did, the internet already on fire. I already got hate videos mad at me back because I got it. So I ain't gonna say. I'll say it one day, but not right now. I'll tell y'all off stream. But boy,
they really hate your boy.
they
That's
do. I
crazy.
mean,
I didn't
they
realize
hate me over
hate
plastic. I'm like, this is just plastic. This is a game. Yeah,
plastic.
this game. This is a great game with Mega Man 8, but
Yes.
horrible voice acting.
Oh, that's the
crazy.
one with Dr. Wowie.
Yeah, Dr. Wright.
Yeah, the dude that does Dr. Light is terrible. It's bad.
But
it's a fun
Mega
game.
Man, you need to come in there.
Wait,
It's
so
so
Omos
bad.
is voicing him? Mega Man.
Yes. Oh my goodness, it's so crazy. But yeah,
oh man, there goes us getting Omos on the show. Thanks a lot.
No, that's my guy. I love Omos.
It kind of do sound like him,
right,
though, for real. Mega Man. It's so bad, but it's so good though.
It's a great game though. Eight is the one where they had the kickball, the little kickball.
Yeah, the kickball. Yeah,
or was that 7?
No, eight was a kickball. Yeah, and the music for Mega Man 8 is so great.
Great though. It's really
it
good.
is.
All right. So why do gamers hate resellers who buy more games with the money? That's a very good question. Like,
we're trying to
why would
figure
a gamer hate a reseller who's buying more games? Like, they're not just trying to cake up and off the the values. They're actually just actual collectors. Like, I mean, you can look and see MrWrightWay's collection. Like, he's not just flipping this to go get a freaking Bentley. It's like, I actually love these games. Not yet, but yeah,
it might come
lovers
soon.
of the games of retro culture is, and that's where we are. So, and if anybody had that money, they would do the same exact thing. So I don't see why you could hate on that. MrWrightWay, please tell the people how to follow you. We're gonna wrap up, but I want to make sure that people are keeping an eye on your content and learning how to do things the right way.
Man, appreciate you, bro. Hit your boy MrWrightWay on the YouTubes. MrWrightWay. Make sure you type it in and you find all my information there. Go and hit like and subscribe. And like I said, always do it the right way.
The catchphrase.
All right. Look at that. That was beautiful. He just dropped in the catchphrase so smooth. He's also on X at Steve Wright Jr. And you can go get MrWrightWay wherever you get great content. And he's always going to deliver it to you and keep it real with you. and all that. So, you know, keep it up, keep up the good work, man. Keep your head above water, avoid the haters, you know, rise above hate, as John Cena used to say, or whatever. But
it's a lot of John Cena reference today, boy. Like,
what did the whole
can I say?
We might get a cease and desist
guy. We always manage to put wrestling. There's always a wrestling reference in this show, always. So yeah, I would say, if I want you to tell me your favorite X-Men, right? Who's your favorite X-Men, Steve?
Yo, after this season, it might be changing to Cyclops, because your boy, after that interview, on that TV interview, I was like, dude, tell them.
I thought he was gonna slap the mic.
Boy,
he had enough. He was like,
he made her feel like this. I was like, that's Cyclops? You mean that Cyclops?
They completely retooled Cyclops, and like, I think that was one of their biggest like wins of the whole show.
Yeah,
is taking Cyclops and what everybody didn't like about him, and just completely flipping him and making him like he's been like showing you that, yo, this dude been through a lot, dog. He been through a lot, and his kid might not be his. He's just the thing you thought you were about to inherit. They gave it to your ops. Yo, he's like the Kel Mitchell of
oh man, I just oh my god, that was a brutal podcast, but that's something for another day.
Mitchell,
like, yo, look that up if Cyclops, you don't know, understand that reference. Cyclops kind of took the Kel Mitchell approach, but that's for another talk. But anyway,
I really wish
I wanted to know your favorite. So yes. So then I would try to work it into wrestling. Who is the Cyclops of WWE?
Oh, that's an easy answer. Ooh, no, that's John Cena, man. You had to
probably Cena. No, it was right there.
I could say Cena, but I could say, like, I was saying Self though.
I can see that.
I can see Self, because like Self has been that background player.
That company
he
guy.
Is. He's like the soul of the E right now. Like he is. He's the guy. Yeah. He's like, he wears it on his sleeve, kind of like Cena used to do. So I would say for sure Seth is like the conscious of the WWE. So that's fair. I would have said Cena. I threw you the softball underhand pitch.
I saw it, but I wanted to change it.
He didn't whiff it. He caught it and said, "Nah, throw that back, dog." Like wait, what?
Curve stomped it like, man.
Curve stomp. All right, so we're about to get out of here. Make sure you follow MrWrightWay. Make sure you follow the Sunset Kid 56. Make sure you follow Mega Ran, and make sure you like, subscribe to the X Pod, and get it on all of your favorite podcasting apps. And you can go get some merch and all that good stuff. But thank you for joining us for another high octane episode of the X Pod 97. We're going to keep doing this. Don't worry. Just because the show's over, don't think that the podcast is over. It is not over. So there will be more content. Please let us know what you want to see. We could talk more video games. We could talk more movies. We could talk more comics and all that good stuff. Speaking of comics, just pick this bad boy up. I highly recommend it. There are 2 episodes out right now, 2 issues of X-Men 97. So you can still get your fix if you are a reader. You know what I mean? Go grab it. I got it on I'm on my bag and board game like I used to be back in the day. So do that if you are missing the show like we are, because man, I really do miss the show already. But there will be more. And this is the X-Pod 97, and we will bid you adieu. Until the next time, kids, as Stan Lee would say, Excelsior. I'm out like, I always think of some weird word. Oh, yeah. I'm out like Mr. Sinister. That's where we out like Mr. Sinister, because he up out of there.
I'll see you
again. Into Mr. Burns.
No.
He turned into Mr. Burns. Get you. And then he's
the Skeletor of X-Men.
Yeah, basically.
He looking like JD.
Right, so we're out. Thanks for joining, y'all.
Hey, this is Marcos. Thanks for supporting the X-Pod 97. We now have merch, y'all. Grab a t-shirt, grab a sticker, grab a hoodie, or even get a mug for one of your relatives or something. I don't know. Rep the greatest X-Men podcast on the planet. We love doing what we do, and we want to continue bringing you weekly episodes. So don't forget to rate us and always subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest drops. Thanks again. We appreciate everything. See ya next time.